How are you, my man?
Pretty good. Just had eye surgery.
Oh, wow. What happened?
It's a little some work, but it's healing. I was really swollen. So ready?
Yeah, ready. Thanks for this. I really appreciate this. So, basically, I'm sure everyone knows who you are, but I'm speaking to Joseph Gannascoli, who played Vito Spatafore on The Sopranos, and it's a real honor to have you here, man. I know you don't give a lot of interviews, so I really appreciate your time to talk.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. No
Really.
problem.
How are things over in New York, man?
Basically it's a shithole. The city is dangerous. Criminals are running around. They get caught. They're back on the street in 20 minutes. Everybody's leaving. 300,000 to so far.
300,000. Wow.
And, yep. Nobody wants to. Nobody feels safe. Businesses are boarded up. They're not going to reopen. It's a shithole.
Wow.
Thank God I'm in Long Island. I'm away from it.
You're away. That's good. That's good. We just come out of one of the harshest lockdown here in Melbourne. Couldn't leave the house at 8 o'clock at night. Couldn't go further than 5 kilometers. It was crazy, man. It was crazy.
Chinese AIDS.
Yeah. The China virus.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of my Facebook followers itching to talk about The Sopranos, obviously, but I just want to touch on a few other things before we do. Is your cooking? You're doing the.
Are we on now?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Are you going to take calls? No, you don't take calls, right? Questions?
No, because 2:30 in the morning here.
Oh.
They're all asleep. But I got a lot to ask, if that's all right. But I just want to touch on the cooking that you do at the moment with the Sopranos themed dinner parties that you're doing.
Yeah, I do. I've been doing a lot. Of course, now they had to reschedule, but people hire me. I was a chef before an actor, so people hire me.
So did you have restaurants before you were acting?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I lived in New Orleans for years, for 3 years. I worked in Manhattan, worked in California, Los Angeles, while I was pursuing the acting. And yeah, I'm a trained chef. I didn't go to school. I'm self-taught.
Oh, wow.
And so my cooking background is French and, of course, Italian.
Yep.
And usually it's a gift for a husband, a boyfriend, a father, or just Soprano fans, or people just want to, get together and have dinner at someone's house because they're not going out like they were. So they'll hire me. I got different menus. I'm there about 10 hours. I have an assistant.
Oh, 10 hours.
Yeah, so I have different menus. And as the guests arrive, I usually answer the door and, they're surprised. I go, what the fuck you want here? You got the right address or something like that. And
they'd be totally shocked seeing you there. They got no idea that you're.
Yeah, they can't really figure it out. They don't, they're not sure. They know me, or they freak out. A couple of times, the person that it's for, whether it be the boyfriend, husband, father, it's their birthday, anniversary. They get them out of the house, and then when they bring them home, I answer the door. So it's pretty cool.
Wow.
So I answer, people. I tell stories about the show. I answer questions, and take pictures of everybody. I'll give the host, a T-shirt and a Soprano mask or a Bada Bing mask, and it's a great night.
Yeah, they look good.
What's that?
What sort of food do you cook there? What's the most requested?
I have a set menu, and I do a big antipasta. Then I do linguine and white clam sauce, and then I'll do either chicken scarpaiello, filet mignon, or roasted chili and sea bass oreganata. So it's different ways to go about it. But usually the antipasto and the linguine and clam is always then they can go with just a scarpaiello, or they can go with the filet mignon, or they can go with the filet mignon and the fish. So it's up to them.
Nice, nice. Your food pops up in my my Facebook feed all the time, man, and it looks it makes me hungry every time I see it. But we're
Yeah,
so
it's a
far
lot of fun
away.
doing it. I got it down to a really a science. My assistant that helps me, she preps everything. I cook it, and then we plate it, and then I like to be set up, and then I go in the backyard, have a little cigar, and wait for the people to come.
Awesome. What an amazing gift to give someone, though. That's yeah, awesome, awesome stuff.
I mean, there's obviously a lot of Soprano fans. But you get one that could actually cook and that was a chef. I mean, it's like a home run.
100%. What did you prefer, the acting or cooking? Well, they both go.
My first passion, my first love is really cooking. Acting was fun, especially when you're part of something great like The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Cooking evolves because I'm always learning and always looking. I mean, it still interests me. TV or watching movies, I mean, not so much. I can't find anything good that really holds my interest, especially for a TV show. So I think I'm gonna, watch something and it just loses my interest. It's garbage. It's probably not garbage, but it just doesn't interest me.
Yeah, yeah. What's the
So
favorite thing you've been watching, though? What's one of your favorite shows that you like?
I don't have one. I
Oh,
keep
no.
looking for one. My eye keeps peering. I keep looking for one. Every time I even tried this latest one, Queen's Gambit about chess. I heard it's good. I just didn't. I heard something about Kingdom, about MMA. Maybe I should give up. I just got a short attention span. I'm more addicted to the politics.
Yeah.
Fox, CNN, MSNBC. I mean, I'm just like nonstop, which I got to really stop. I've been doing it for 5 years now, 4 years, and it's very depressing.
It can be. I mean, we watch a lot of Fox News here and CNN, and it can get depressing after a while, for sure.
Yeah, especially when it's so jaded and shaded. So
It's amazing, man. You can see two different Fox News, and then you watch CNN, and there's two different things going on, but the same thing. And it's like we're over here, but over there, you just got no idea.
yeah, CNN shows what they want to show. They don't acknowledge what's actually happening. And same thing with Fox, but I think Fox is actually a little more fair. They'll show both sides, but that's the problem. They don't. It's so with the mainstream media. I mean, it's just it is what it is. We won't get into politics.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So with the dinner parties, what's the most asked question from the guests about the
What's going on with the movie? Are you going to be in it? And I say, takes place in the 60s. So it's all before, all of us were probably very young or not even around. So I am looking forward to the movie, the many Saints in Newark, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, it should have been out in September. Then of course the COVID came. So now it's March of 21, I think I heard.
Yeah.
The old what happened at the end. Some of them are really intense fans, like, who'd you like working with? I always tell them John Fiore, Gigi, died on the toilet bowl. What was Jimmy like? A lot of them were at my wedding. They were all great. They all, spoke, they sang. Oh, it was a great time.
Yeah. So I was hoping just to quickly go to 1999 to Mickey Blue Eyes just for a quick second, because you're in that movie, which was an awesome movie. I actually watched it when it first came out, 21 years ago, and then I rewatched it again just recently. And it was surprising because there's about 8 cast members from The Sopranos in it.
Yeah.
And Sopranos was happening at the same time in 99. It came out.
Yeah. Yeah, same thing with like Goodfellas. Was a lot of, although it was before, but a lot of Sopranos in that. But Mickey Blue Eyes, there was a lot of that was a lot of fun. The movie was shot and they added my scenes to it, and Hugh Grant directed it. And I remember going up to his hotel to rehearse and go over the scenes, and Elizabeth Hurley was there, and that was quite a sight.
Wow.
But that was pretty cool.
She's still a
And
sight.
huh?
She's still a sight now.
She's stunning. She's stunning. But back then, 21 years ago, you could imagine long white dress, sunlight was coming through. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun being in that, and a lot of people like that movie. It's pretty funny. It was well done.
Yeah, it was a very funny movie. I loved it. So cutting to obviously The Sopranos, because that's what everyone loves to talk about. I'm sure you've spoken about it a lot. But you're in the it was season 1, episode 8, The Legend of Tennessee Moltisanti, which was a really funny episode. So you played, it wasn't Vito, you played a guy called Gino.
Right.
The first part in the show. So how did that come about, that part?
So I auditioned for that role, and I remember thinking that, at the time, I probably auditioned 97 or 8, maybe. I didn't want to do it. I said, I don't feel like really doing TV. I spoke to the casting directors. I didn't even have an agent. And they said, no, make sure you do this. This is going to be big. And I said, okay. I mean, I did it. What do I know? And I did that scene and never really thought about it again. And by that time, I had watched the first 7 episodes when they came out. And then by that time, I was hooked. And I was like, oh, my God, I was so glad I was in it. I think it was just beginning to get a cult following. And by season 2, it really kicked in. But everybody was just getting, used to it.
Yeah, because going back to that scene that you're in, it's one of the most talked about scenes online. Chrissy going into the to the pastry store, shooting the kid in the foot. Obviously, that's what happened to him in Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
Yeah, and you're there, but it's a very funny scene, and it's still, you go to the fan forums and the Facebook pages, and everyone talks about that, that episode. And then and you're in it. That was you.
Yeah. And people go, oh, wait a minute, that's Vito.
Yeah.
They talk about that scene a lot, and the one when I'm talking my inner monologue, which I think I was the only one to have an inner monologue when I'm working and thinking about Jim's
Yeah.
sandwiches that they made for me or something.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for it to be 12 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those 2 scenes are a lot of people relate to that.
Yeah, I actually want to touch on those scenes shortly, but so then in 2001, in season 3, episode 13, in Army of Love, you wipe out a major character, Jackie Jr. towards the end after you pulled up the card game.
Yeah, that was pretty big. I mean, season 3, you know who's going to get killed. First of all, you're glad it's not, you or me. And then to do the big hit, he was a big girl favorite, and to kill him was pretty cool at the end of season 3. That was great.
Especially killing.
I'll tell you, I'm so blessed to have been part of that. I thank God every day. It changed my life, but it was pretty cool. I'll forever be grateful.
Yeah. How guarded were the scripts? How in advance did you know what was happening with your character? I mean, was it did you know in advance, or you just got the script a week before and that was it?
You never really got the script. You got your sides. So the scenes that you were in, you just got them. I'm sure like Jimmy, of course, got the script, and Edie, but the lesser guys just got the sides because they didn't want any leaks. And then when you got to the read through, you got the script to read. So yeah, that was you couldn't wait to hear all the other lines, especially the funny lines, with Uncle Junior and
yeah,
Tony Sirico, Paulie Walnuts. We always got a lot of laughs in those read-throughs.
Yeah, that would have been. So that would have been a pretty intense scene, killing Jackie Jr. I mean, the son of the acting boss, Jackie Sr. at the time. I mean, was how can I put it? I mean, did they want to actually whack? It was like Tony didn't want to whack him. Ralph did, and Tony told Ralph to. I mean, it was a little bit confusing at the time.
Yeah, I'm kind of forget how the chain of events happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. I think about it. I have to go back and really follow it. It's been so long.
Yeah.
Ralphie did. I guess he was acting out and was doing stick ups and stuff like that. Reminds me of another movie I was in called Rob the Mob, where they were holding up social clubs, card games, and robbing social clubs.
Yeah.
You can't go to the police and report it, and eventually they caught up with the guy. But so that's what Jackie Jr. was doing.
Okay. Yeah, it was a pretty intense scene, and seeing him, you never knew when a major character was just gonna get whacked like that. It was pretty full on.
Yeah. That was nice killing him.
Yeah.
The guys loved me and the girls hated me.
No, but you look like the real legitimate hitman then, coming with the leather jacket right up behind him and back in the head.
Yeah, it took me forever to get into that. I think that was like an inside joke because they had that little small car and me trying to get into it. At the time my hips were killing me. I needed double hip replacement. So it wasn't easy walking. And doing that scene over and over again was very painful. But I came out of nowhere, which is hard to believe that I came up right behind him. He didn't see me.
Yeah.
I just appeared.
So with a scene like that, how long does it take to shoot something like that? Is that a whole sort of day thing, or?
A couple hours.
Yeah.
Couple hours. It was the last episode of season 3. So David Chase shot it, directed it, I should say.
Yeah.
From what I remember, it was really long ago. It's got to be 18, 19 years ago.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But he directed that episode, and that was the season finale for season 2.
Yeah.
Season 2? No, 3.
Season 2.
3.
Season 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then jumping to season 4, whoever did this, which was in 2002, pretty intense episode. Tony killing Ralph. And then you're made captain of the crew. So you
Yes.
Up.
What was that? Season 5?
Season 4.
Season 4, I was made captain.
Yeah, in whoever did this, because obviously Tony's killed Ralph because he was over the Ralph killed the horse. He killed Tracy.
Right.
And then he went to his house.
Right.
And got in that fight. And just out of nowhere, Tony's, whacked Ralph, which was, again, that show is like, you're not expecting that. You're not expecting Ralph to be whacked like that. It just, always shocked you every episode. There was always a shock.
Yeah. That was good. I mean, I think they were, I think Tony was contemplating who to make captain. I think it was me, Gene, or wasn't it Gigi? And then I became captain.
Yeah, then you were captain. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Great scene. So in 2004, in season 5, episode 9, which was Unidentified Black Males. So basically, I when we're in lockdown, we rewatched every season. And my partner, she watched she hadn't seen it before, so she loved it. But it was good to sit there and rewatch it again. Now that was
It still kind of holds up. being 20 years old, doesn't it? Doesn't look dated.
Yeah, still, it looks good. It looks good. It's amazing how it's still, 20 years later, how good it can look.
Yeah, yep.
And how real it looks. You really, one thing I found with that show is you're halfway through watching it and it's like it's real. It's, the guys are real.
Yeah.
But that was a really full-on episode. And I read somewhere, obviously, okay, so Finn, Meadows' boyfriend, rocks up to the construction site, catches Vito in the car giving head to a security guard.
Finn, yep.
Finn, yeah. That threw me. That was...
It threw the whole country, especially, the morning after, the Monday, every radio station, sports station, Howard Stern.
Wow.
I mean, everybody was talking about it. It was pretty big. And that was pretty cool to, of course, as you know, that was my idea to make my character gay.
Yeah. So what made you,
Right, so,
what made you, I read that you come up with that idea and took it to,
so it was from a book I was reading, and it made it very interesting, I thought, to portray that, something you don't see in mob movies. And I thought it'd be interesting. As an actor, especially in that show, you always want more to do more. And I wanted to, show people I can just act and not play like, a regular neighborhood guy, which is easy to do. I was from the neighborhood and I grew up with those guys.
Yeah.
So, a lot of actors wouldn't do it, whatever their, insecurities, or who knows if they're in the closet themselves. But I had no problem with it. Being in the restaurant business, he worked with a lot of gays. So I was cool with it. And, I'm a live and let live kind of guy.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
And you saw that based on an associate from the Gambino crime family who was gay and
right
in the murder machine.
John D'Amato?
Yeah, I read it. So Anthony Capo, who murdered, I think it was, I had his name down here.
John D'Amato, wasn't it, from North Jersey?
Vito Arena.
Oh, no. Vito Arena was the guy that I, from the book, Murder Machine.
Yeah.
Right. He was the guy that was gay.
Yeah.
So when I brought the idea to him, I gave him the book. And they thought about it for a year and a half, but then they killed this guy in Jersey named John D'Amato, I think. And he was supposedly gay. And that's when they decided to do something with him.
Oh, after he was murdered in real life.
Wow. Right. Okay. So then they knew it was viable. And then they asked me what was the name of that book. And I brought it into them again. And we did it.
Wow. And then I read somewhere that James Gandolfini said to you that if you weren't comfortable doing that part with the security guard, that he'd go and talk to David Chase.
No, when we got to do the read through, a couple of the guys were breaking balls, which I expected. But Jimmy took me aside and said, "Look, if you're not comfortable doing this, we'll go talk to David." And I said to him, I kind of asked for this, so it's not what I really had in mind, but I'll trust it to them that it'll be done. I just didn't want to do that and then wind up like the Russian, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what happens. So they assured me that nothing's going to be done with it this year, but next year is going to be big for you. Be ready. And that was very gratifying to know that what I had hoped was going to happen. And so season 6 was pretty much a huge arc for me. And if I wasn't in the episode, they were talking about me. And I really got to do some acting. But that scene where Finn comes out of the porta potty is my favorite scene. And I got that in 2 takes, which I was surprised because I kept saying, let me do it again. Let me do it again. And they said, no, it was perfect. You got it. And that was my most fun scene I had acting.
That scene, yeah. Yeah, it was a great scene. Great scene. So did you have much to do with the writing of what happened with Vito coming out?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. The only thing that the only suggestion I had was making my character, like I said. And that's the only suggestion that David Chase ever took from an actor. That's what he said.
Wow.
So, and that changed my life. So, very proud of that. And because I just would have been, one of those guys that was in the show. But I mean, it just opened up so many doors. Everybody knows who I am and what I did. Now, the whole point of doing that was to get more acting roles.
Okay.
I mean, that was the whole point of that. And that really didn't happen. But again, I'm okay with it because it opened up a lot of doors for me to support my family. So that's what all I cared about.
Yeah, definitely. But that was that role coming out like that was a very interesting thing to do. And, going to that season 6, episode 5 with Mr. and Mrs. John Sacramone Request, where Johnny Sack's daughter got married, and then you go home and you kiss your wife goodbye and you go out, it's 2, 3 in the morning or something, and you end up at a gay club dressed up in the leathers. So was that an actual real gay club there, or?
That was it was just a club, but we brought in they put a flyer out in real leather bars in the Village, New York City, and those were real guys that
Oh wow.
Yeah, they had no interest in being part of the show. They just wanted to. They were getting paid. They were all drinking, and they were all having fun, and they were. That was kind of real. That was. Yeah, I got a little dicey there because the Teamsters didn't want no part of them. They don't want to eat in the lunchroom with them, and yeah, so that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that was
they were real.
Thing. So they were real. They were real gay guys in leather at the scene. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
That was full on. But then seeing the, you're dancing away, you're having a ball, you're having fun, and then the 2 associates come in to do the debt collecting, and then they see you, and I pause for 1 minute because trying to work out what's going through your mind as Vito. You're like, are you going to have them whacked? What's running through Vito's mind? You're going to have them whacked? Are you going to be whacked because it's all going to come out? The whole secret's out?
Yeah, I'm sort of busted. So yeah. I know it's going to get out. There's no way for me to whack them. And, so my life was changing right then and there. And I knew I had to get away. And that's what I made the move.
Yeah, because your acting was brilliant. I mean, you could see, you're this big captain making all this money for this family, and then you're in this, gay nightclub, and the 2 associates, like you could see it in your face. It was, acting was brilliant, amazing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
And on the whole show, you were amazing. But I mean, it was just that some of those scenes were just so real, and that's why I keep coming back to that show. Everything seems so real in that show, and that scene, your face, you knew it was up. That was it, Vito. It was, that was it. Did you have an idea if, obviously with Vito being gay in the show, that he would be eventually whacked? Did you think that?
Well, I had a feeling probably it's not going to end well. I think Tony would have been all right with it because he was like sort of, I don't want to say progressive, but he knew it. Said, it doesn't matter now. I mean, I don't know what year it was, but once it started affecting the pocketbook and people wouldn't do business with him and would hurt him money wise, he knew what he had to do, and that was to get rid of Vito.
Yeah.
And it wound up being Frank Phil Leotardo,
Phil Leotardo, yeah.
Frank Vincent,
Frank
Phil
Vincent.
Leotardo for when they killed his brother.
Yeah,
So that was payback.
payback. So you go on the run, as you know, you're on the run, and then you ring Sil. What do you hear? What do you say? Who come up with that line? That is just a classic. You know, everyone talks about that line. What do you hear? What do you say? Can you say that now? I'd love to.
What do you hear? What do you say?
Yeah, that's.
What do you hear? What do you say?
I mean, that was only a few hours after you'd been busted in the club, and you're already trying to suss out. Word was out, you know.
Yeah. Word got out. Yeah, that was. I think that line. I don't know why, but I think it was. I know about that line when I was a kid, and I think it was in a James Cagney movie.
Oh, okay.
You know, what do you hear? Yeah, I think in one of his early gangster movies. What do you hear? What do you say?
Yeah, that's.
So I'm glad they gave me that line. That was a great line.
Yeah, that was.
You know, what about my bread in the as Gino? What do you hear? What do you say? You know, it's nothing. I'm just here. It's a joke. I mean, I had some good lines.
Yeah, you had some awesome lines. Awesome lines. So then we went to Mo and Joe's episode where we see Vito living with Jim Witowski, I think he was called in the show, who was
Yeah,
Johnny Cake's John Costello, who tragically is not with us anymore.
yeah. I went back with John. I knew him actually when I was kind of like relieved that it was him going to be the Johnny Cakes. You know, that made it a little bit easier. You know,
Did they give you a choice with who they were going to cast for that part? No.
no,
Okay. So he was a real firefighter in real life, yeah.
yeah, he was a fighter. He was a Brooklyn guy. He was a tremendous actor. Rest in peace, man. That was tragic. Yeah, Brooklyn guy. You know, like sort of respected New York actor. You know, he was just great, and you know, I guess he had a dark side to him. And it's sad, really is, because you know he had kids, and you don't know go through someone's mind when they actually do it. So
Yeah.
sad.
So there was no signs at all, obviously. The dark side that he had.
Yeah. Who knew? Who knew? I didn't see anything like remotely like that when I was with him. But yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, he was in Die Hard 2 as well. He was in a lot of movies as well.
Yeah, he was in the Dustin Hoffman Dutch Schultz. I think it was Dutch Schultz. Forgot the name of it when Nicole Kidman and Dustin Hoffman. He was in that. Black Rain, did you say?
Die Hard 2. Played a cop.
Die Hard 2, Black Rain. Yeah, he did some, you know, big things, man. He was great.
Did you find it hard doing those scenes with another guy?
Oh,
playing?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, especially with a mustache. I just put it out of my mind and said, listen, this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
And just make it as believable as you can. And we'll get through it.
Did you know that
it wasn't easy, trust me.
Did you know it was going to go that far? Like when you suggested the idea to David about becoming gay in the show.
Yeah, no, I didn't think it was going to go that far. But you didn't really see anything. It was implied. I mean, there was a little making out, which was kind of weird, but it was from far away, and it's not like we were tonguing.
Yeah.
And he's sleeping behind me, and looks like he's entering me, but you don't see it.
Yeah.
So you got to act, and that's it. We got through it, and that was that.
Yeah. No, it was brilliant acting. Was anyone against it on the show? Like any of the other cast members, sort of like, no, we shouldn't go.
No, I don't think they had any say. No one's going to go against what David Chase wants to do.
Yeah. And I have to ask, were the Johnny Cakes really nice?
Were the Johnny Cakes nice?
Yeah, the Johnny cakes that he made were they actually really nice, or they just
Well, at that time they're like old and were like cold and they've been pre-made. So, but it's just a white corn pancake.
yeah, yeah,
So I guess we're maple syrup and butter. I mean, anything would taste good, really.
yeah, true.
But yeah, now it's like soft as a regular pancake. Yeah, and it's an indigenous dish
Yeah,
to New Hampshire. So, Johnny cakes.
yeah. So like Mo and Joe's was your second last episode, and we see towards the end you're coming back to Jersey. You make the choice to leave Johnny cakes, and you're driving back to
Yeah,
Jersey.
I missed the life. New Hampshire was a little too boring for me. I missed the action. And I think me and him had a falling out. And I missed my kids.
Yeah,
So you put all those together and it was time for me to go.
yeah. So that scene with you driving back and you're having a drink, Frank Sinatra's My Way's playing. It looked like you could see Vito was processing. He knew he was gone. He's coming back, but he knew in his mind that it wasn't a good idea to come back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's what he just went through. He's trying to get back into life, and he doesn't know. It's the unknown. How he's going to be received. If he's walking into it's just the end for him. So, yeah, it was kind of weird.
Yeah,
A weird time for Vito. And in reality, he was right. Wasn't well received, and he had a hard time getting back into the life.
that was a very intense scene. When you're driving, you've hit that parked car, you've got out, you shot the guy. Just
Yeah, well, it would have been the end of Vito right there had the cops come and got involved in DUI, and they would have got out. So I offered the guy a way out. Right, I gave him 600. I offered him 600,
you didn't take
but
it.
he wouldn't take it. To forget about it. So I did what I had to do, like any mobster would.
That's it. So then you go back and you're trying to buy your way back in 200K to get back into the family. Tony's considering it, but I'm not sure if he was really considering it or he's just trying to get the 200K and all Vito's contacts.
Yeah. I was Tony's top earner.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he considered it, but then no one was going to do business with me. So it was tough. I guess he didn't like me just leaving in the middle of the night and leaving. Bringing back a lot of memories now, trying to think what was going through in my mind back then.
Yes, I know, a long time ago.
Yeah.
But there was that scene where I think it was early in the morning, you've called Tony and said, have you thought about my offer? And then he says to meet 11 o'clock in the morning at the shopping mall and wants to talk about it. Do you think at that moment, because he knew you were going to be whacked, that he was just going to take the 200K, get your contacts, and then, he knew?
I think he did. I think my brother was in the distance, right?
Yeah.
The one that was beaten up, that was in the hospital.
Yeah.
By actually another guy that's no longer with us, that hit him with the golf club. I kind of forget if he knew or he was resigned to the fact, let me just get his money and then, whatever happens. I forgot how that all went down.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the second final scene, and then the scene of you going back to the hotel. So that was basically the last scene I wanted to touch on, was you going back to the hotel. The guys are there waiting for you in the dark. What was that scene like?
Yeah. Well, that scene was in Fort Lee, New Jersey, which doesn't mean anything to you. But it was all right over the George Washington Bridge. It's an old dilapidated motel. that they knocked down, but I used to pass it all the time.
Yeah.
It's called the Metropolitan Hotel. And of course, the inside joke was Phil coming out of the closet, right? Because he was sort of like a metrosexual. A lot of inside jokes there with The Sopranos. And it was kind of painful. And I remember, pleading for my life. And it was so quick, when you're shooting it. And then when you see it on screen, how little they used. But then they went to the ceiling mirrors to show it, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it was a gruesome death. And I'm glad I just didn't get shot or, that's why the pool cue
Yeah.
is a good idea.
I'm going to get some and send them over and have you sign them. I've actually already looked at some, so that'd be great if you could do that. I think it's a fantastic.
I think it's a great collector's item. I actually had pool cues, and then the LGBTQT, whatever the fuck it is, got wind of it and weren't too happy about it. But,
Oh, really?
we'll talk about that, how we could do it.
Well, they're upset about the pool cues.
Yeah, I called it a cue to die for. I think I've said somewhere, does this pool cue make my ass look fat? So I thought I was glorifying the beating of a gay guy, but I was their poster boy. So it's one idea I had that didn't work out. But yeah, I think that would be better. If I had got me to death with a bat, that would be something. But a pool cue is, I think, a really cool for any real Soprano fan. I mean, that's a unique piece of memorabilia. And
man.
yeah, so we'll talk about that, how to get that done. I have some ideas about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that for sure, because there's a lot of baseball bats and signed and things like that, and over here, Sopranos memorabilia, it sells really quick, but the pool cue idea, I think, is just, it's an awesome idea.
Yeah,
we'll do something like that for sure. Going back on that scene, what was it like working with Frank Vincent?
Well, I sat at the table with him at the wedding, which was great. Now, he was in one of my favorite movies of all time, called Raging Bull, with De Niro and Joe Pesci. So I enjoyed talking to him about that. It's really the movie that really got me interested in acting.
Yeah, it's
because I was obsessed with that film. But he was always. I liked Frank and everything he did. He was just so. You could see he was so fastidious and meticulous about his appearance and so on. And I enjoyed him. And again, another guy gone too soon.
Yeah, definitely. Great actor, though. Great actor.
100%.
Who was one of your favorite? I mean, there's obviously always favorites, but one of your favorite actors on The Sopranos?
Well, like I said, Gigi played John Fiore. And then John Fiore played Gigi.
Yep.
Got on the toilet bowl. He was just, I thought he was a tremendous actor. Very accomplished, did a lot of things. And off camera, we had a lot of laughs. He always had a great sense of humor. He's from Boston. So he got my humor, I got his. And we've done a lot of things since. And he was my favorite guy.
Yeah. There was a lot of talented actors on that show. I mean, a lot.
Yeah, he should work more. I wish he would. He's a talented guy.
Yeah. So have you watched every episode of The Sopranos?
I'm sure I watched it when it was on TV.
Yeah.
I haven't gone back and watched. I mean, I don't like seeing myself. I was big. I had that limp, which was painful. I needed my hips done. And then I don't like seeing Jimmy. So for those reasons, I don't really watch now. Yeah.
Did you have any particular favorite episode at all? Like, was there an episode you thought was just like?
Well, Live Free or Die. I mean, I enjoyed that. There was other ones. But my live free or die. When I first get into town, and I'm in the antique shop,
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah, because that was like seeing a real different side to you, from Vito, the mafia captain. Then you got Vito, the gay guy in an antique store on the run.
Yeah. When a guy says, "You know what, you got an eye, you're a natural," that was pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So what was it like shooting those scenes? I mean, it would have been a lot different to, the scenes you were used to shooting with all the guys.
It was nice. I was sort of on my own. It was like we were really on in New Hampshire. We were in a little quaint town called Booton in New Jersey,
Okay.
and it was an antique town. There was a nice little with the waterfall. We stayed in an old house, which was like the B&B, but it was owned by Italians, which was cool. They were really nice. Yeah, I enjoyed that also. I think it was me and John Costello. We were off doing our own thing, which was nice.
Yeah, it was a really different, seeing you like that. Really different. I guess another thing a lot of people will ask is, what was it like working with James Gandolfini?
You know, he was just, obviously a really gifted actor, but he was a regular guy, down to earth, blue collar guy. And I'm glad I got to see him act. And, we weren't very close, but he did touch me in a couple of ways. He came to I had a restaurant, so a lot of the cast members come maybe once a month to meet the fans.
Yep.
And that was a big thing for me. I had a small little restaurant, and that was a big thing in my neighborhood. And he said, "Listen, everybody's coming to your restaurant. When am I gonna come?" And I said, "Well, I didn't want to ask." And he came on a rainy night, sick as a dog. We had a line around the corner. CNN covered it. It was pretty cool. Then he, of course, outside the read-through, when he said, "You don't have to do this," and that was very nice of him to do. And then he came to my wedding and spoke at my wedding. He came with his son.
Oh, wow.
And he said some really nice things. So in those three ways, he touched me. And that's something I'll always remember him for. Aside from the fact that, he's just a tremendous actor, and
Yeah.
it's great that, he was our captain. He was our leader, and, being on that show, you want to hold your own. You don't want to let the team down, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Had you worked with him prior to The Sopranos on anything at all? Or?
The first movie I ever did was called Money for Nothing.
Yeah.
And he was in it, but I didn't get to work with him.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I only worked with Michael Madsen, but he was in it, and the person that was also in it that I didn't really work my scene with, but really helped my career and got me into really meeting the casting directors of The Sopranos, and got me in other films, and directed me in a film where I was the lead with Matthew McConaughey. It was a short film, was Benicio del Toro. And
Okay.
that's really what helped me. I mean, there's all these little things that helped me along the way. So, but of course, you got to make your own breaks. And when they ring the bell, you got to answer it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Are you still in contact with any of the cast from the show? Or?
No, not really. Just maybe John Fury.
Yeah.
No one else.
Yeah.
No.
You see a lot of them. I mean, a lot of them are doing interviews and things like that. And yeah, but very rare to see.
There's not many I do with these. I got asked to do a ton of podcasts. And
Yeah.
I mean, I did yours because we were so nice.
Yeah, I really.
We struck up a friendship here, and hopefully we'll do some business and stuff. But
sure.
I don't do a lot because there's so many of them, and I've done a few. But I mean, I can't. I've been spending. How many times I've gone over this so many times that, I mean, you had interesting questions. You obviously did your homework.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, some of them are not even aware of things, and it's like frustrating. So I go, what am I doing
yeah. No, I appreciate, it was a real honor for you to take the time to speak to me about this. And there was also one more thing. I know I'm holding you up, but I read somewhere of meals for hospital and restaurant workers, something you're involved in. Is that right?
Yeah. So what I had done was, because I was a chef before an actor, when the pandemic first hit, March, April, I think April 9th.
Yep.
So I started a GoFundMe and I raised $35,000. And what I did was took that money, and it came in every week. I did it for about 7 weeks. And I bought food from the restaurants in my neighborhood. And I brought them to the hospitals and nursing homes, police department, fire department, sanitation, post office. And I brought them breakfast. And I'd spend, anywhere from a couple of hundred for breakfast to 7, 8, 9, 1,000 for dinner.
Wow.
And I bought it, sometimes twice, maybe for lunch for one crew and back at 6. And I did that for 7 weeks because, I helped the restaurants, and I helped, it wasn't just like pizza and sandwiches for these people. I was getting them real dinner,
Yeah.
So it was good on both ends. And I did that. And that was good. That was very rewarding. I wasn't, stuck home in a lockdown. I was out there. And thank God I got through it. And a lot of people were happy. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Is the GoFundMe
I wound
page?
up doing over 100 pickup and deliveries
Oh, wow.
because word spread, and there was writing about it, and people were posting pictures because there was a lot of fans. So you do a lot of pictures when you take it. They meet you outside, the nurses and doctors. So they're like, oh, we're not getting anything. We're stuck. And, no one comes. We're in the laboratory doing the test, and everybody's afraid to come down here. Can we? So I helped, I did about 20 different hospitals, 5 different police precincts, 2 big post offices in my neighborhood, 4 different fire departments. I mean, it added up. So it was good. It was very rewarding.
And you're doing a lot of the deliveries yourself as well.
I did the ordering, the picking up, and the delivering. Nobody helped me.
Wow. And what was it like out in the hospitals, man? Like, I mean, you see some stuff on the news at the moment, but I mean,
in the beginning, everybody was really freaky. I mean, it was first I didn't go in. I'd call them up and say I'm here. They'd come outside with a cart. So we did it right in front. But they were, covered up with shields and masks, and everything was covered up. It was a little freaky at times.
Wow. It's this year's been crazy, man. It's just been an unbelievable year, and
2020 went up sucking.
Yeah.
And then the story, my 104-year-old aunt, she got it, and she beat it, and she came home.
Oh, she beat it.
Yeah, she beat it, and she passed away from a blood infection. But my cousins were happy because she didn't die in a nursing home. They got her to be at home with them.
Wow.
And that was a big story. That was I think that's pinned on my Twitter. That story. That was right toward the end of what I was doing. And when I found out about her, I didn't even know about it. I took food twice. Once when she was in, and once then we released her. And there was got to be 200 people there between nurses and family and the papers. I was good.
Wow. That's good stuff, man. Yeah, I really appreciate your time. I really do. So I'm going to send some of those photos over for you to sign, and we'll do the pool cues. Hopefully we don't upset anyone.
No, listen, it's a piece of memorabilia.
Yeah.
They could have killed me with a tennis racket, and I'd be signing tennis rackets.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. We've got a friend
about that.
Huh?
We'll talk about that. Can you end this, and we'll tell you what I think?
Yeah. I'll do that now. Thanks.